Sorry, I'm a little nervous, and also I've not slept the last 8 days, so life is a little surreal for me right now. But I just wanted to show you pictures of the wall. See, there's the wall, and there's the wall as well. Now, what has happened for some Palestinian farmers is, I have a farm, and, suddenly the wall cuts my land in half. And it's kind of like tough luck. You're going to have to deal with the consequences of that. Okay, CARE began working in Israel and the West Bank in 1948. We returned in 94, and since 94 we've been working exclusively with Palestinian communities. Which particular sector did we want to take on in our advocacy strategy? So we have the option of water and sanitation, health, or food security and livelihoods. And in the end, based on sort of group work, we decided to go with food security and livelihoods. And the reason for that is because, access and mobility is such an issue. It's easier, if we want to be evidence-based, it's easier to show it in food security programs, because what we're encountering is, in Gaza as an example, as a result of the disengagement, the Israelis have left and there is freedom of movement within Gaza, but people and products can't get out. So the Gazans, describe it as being a prison, really, in many respects. In the West Bank, as a result of the different checkpoints, barriers, and also the illegal settlements, because there still are a lot of illegal settlements in the West Bank. Sometimes it's almost impossible, if I'm living in village A, to get to village B. And so in terms of our food security programs, markets are a key part of good agricultural programming. And we've encountered some real sort of limitations in terms of how to build those market links. Now, I just wanted to present to you the logical progression of the narrative, keeping in mind that for us, this whole strategy is still a work in progress. But basically, we see it as there's an access and movement agreement. It was developed by the World Bank, and the United Nations and all Western governments support the agreement. It's there, it's ready to be implemented. So we felt that it was a good thing to sort of hang the advocacy initiative on. And the implementation of the AMA should result in the removal of the obstacles to movement and the capacity of the Palestinian Authority and the agricultural sector to be strengthened. The agricultural sector is critical to the Palestinian economy today. What has happened is, since the Second Intifada, fewer permits have been given to Palestinians to work in the Israeli labor market. And in places like the Jenin Governorate, which is one of the northern governorates in the West Bank, 25% of the male population used to work in Israel, and they no longer have access to these markets. So a lot of families have now been forced to really live off of their land. So it's a critical component in the Palestinian economy. Can we affect change? Keeping in mind that the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, it's received quite a bit of attention. Certainly from the UN and Western governments, and every time there's a visitor to Israel, they definitely put the access and movement issue on the table, and yet nothing seems to, or very little changes. So as an organization, we had to ask ourselves the question, can we affect change? There is the challenge of identifying achievable change objectives, in part because the occupation is so incredibly complex. So for us, it was really, being careful in terms of the issue that we decided to pick up on. And then there's operationalizing advocacy. One of our concerns is that, you could develop this strategy, and this particular one will be working at all levels, but it's how do you ensure your advocacy strategy isn't out here and your programming is here somewhere? I mean, they really need to be feeding into each other. And then just some of the techniques we've used for overcoming the challenges previously mentioned. CARE's diverse membership, we're very fortunate. We have members in Canada, the US, we've got CARE UK, CARE France, we've got members throughout Europe and also CARE Australia. So we feel that they could have access to governments to sort of send the message that it's important that Israel respects the access and movement agreement. The strategy is evidence-based. What we really want to do is be able to say, as we implement our food security and livelihoods programs, these are the obstacles, these are the challenges we face time and time again, and they relate to the occupation and impact the livelihoods of Palestinians. And then we're very much committed to integrating our advocacy work in our new program design. So that's it.
Spot on time.